Hello and welcome to the Evolvepreneur Secrets Show for entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Brian Silverthorne, and my mission is to help entrepreneurs make the difference they want to make and navigate the often challenging worlds of startup growth or relaunch. Today, we're going to dig deep with our guest and get you the best concepts and strategies to fast track your business. And today, our special guest is Sacha Walton. And Sacha is a business strategist and a professional speaker who helps entrepreneurs build outstanding businesses with kind of a holistic approach. So, welcome, Sacha.
Thank you, Brian. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you here. So, why don't we get started? I read your bio. You're a very busy lady and you've got a lot going on. So, rather than me stumble through it, why don't you give us your origin story, a little bit about who you are and how you got to where you are today?
Okay, perfect. Hello, everybody. I'm Sacha Walton. I am the owner of SWI Management Group, and I've been in business for almost a little over 20 years. I started in 1998 with event production, and I evolved over the years, and I birthed the SWI Management Group brand in 2013. And then from there, I went on to, having government contracts, working with corporations with event services, and then just enjoying my ride. But I transitioned a little bit due to the pandemic. We all had to shift and pivot a little bit. And so in my shift caused me to do something that was outside of my comfort zone, which is to come out as the face of my brand. So now I am a business strategist, a podcast host. I've written a book called Beyond the Music. This is an entrepreneurship guide for music artists, and as well as still producing events, and I am an international professional speaker now. So I just like to say all those things to let everyone know that it's okay to evolve. And that's my origin plus my new story now that I could talk about.
Well, that's great. That's extremely interesting, and I think the pandemic, as well as some other things, have caused a lot of people to make a shift or a pivot in how they maybe not off to a different career, but a different version of their career, or maybe a different way that they do it.
Yeah.
So now that you're in your new position, your new approach to what you do, helping folks out. Let's say we were having this chat maybe 3 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think would have to happen in order for you to be completely happy with the results you would have achieved 3 years from now?
Oh, wow. 3 years ago, if we had this conversation, the furthest from my mind would have been a speaker. I was so comfortable being behind the scenes and just doing the wonderful events I've always worked on. And in hindsight, I always worked with other businesses and just kind of hid behind growing their business. So for me to be in the limelight now, that would have been nothing we would have been discussing. But it's a joy being here, though.
Great. Well, what about 3 years from now? Can you envision anything where you'd like
Mm.
to be if everything goes the way you want it to go?
Yeah, I would love to see myself 3 years from now. Um, I'm still in shock to say that I would say it, but I want to be the household name. I want to be known for being the woman who shook up the narrative on entrepreneurship. I like to think outside the box when it comes to it. And so I just want to be able to embrace all platforms and wherever that takes me to and the abundance that comes from that. And yeah, 3 years from now, that's what I would love to be, which is, like I said, I'm still pinching myself even saying that.
Well, it never hurts to dream big.
Yes.
So I like you. I like your phrase, shake up uh,
Yeah.
the
Thank you.
world of entrepreneurs. That's great. So in this achieving that 3 year goal or result that you would like to achieve, what do
Mhm.
you think right now that would be your biggest challenges preventing you from getting there?
So I feel like my biggest challenge right now would be it's just that sense of starting over, even though I don't feel like I am. But because of how I had to do the shift and pivot, there's still a lot of people who are unaware of my skill sets and the things that I actually do. And so building that whole platform around it, the visibility is there. That's fine and good. I'm doing my thing when it comes to it. But I believe just being more understood. I feel like with this, I like to say it like this. I believe that I'm in the middle of that understanding of new ways of doing business, in this digital age, and as well as the traditional phase of it. And I know with coming with a lot of the new ways of doing it, you have a lot of millennials, you have a lot of insight that is different compared to starting business 20 years ago. And so, and with that, and having to, see the challenges with that new norm, those are the things to really navigate through. I don't really feel like it's a big challenge, but it's a challenge, but it's not anything I can't overcome.
There you go.
That I will not overcome. So it'll happen.
So when you say platform, that's an interesting word for me, and I'm assuming for others too.
Yes.
It can be a technical platform or a political platform,
Mhm.
but again, you mentioned about getting yourself recognized in your new role.
Yes.
So what do you mean by the platform, and how could that help you get recognized?
Yeah. So, everything now is so digital, as everything is always about social media. And I believe in a marketing mix. So I still look at the traditional ways of media. And so when I'm thinking about platforms, it's primarily the social media platform, because that's where everybody's doing their business now. It's either online in some form or fashion and social media. But when I do the marketing mix, that's also the speaking platforms, the podcasting, being in print and doing the PR and things of that nature, and the shows that could come from that. So those are the platforms as a whole. But I do find that with the social media part, that is the one that say that, okay, on the personal side, building a brand, yeah, it's easy. But when you're competing against everyone else that's on the social media platforms and they all are doing the same thing, it's looking at how can you stand out from amongst everyone else and make yourself different. And so what I like to do, and that's where that whole shaking up the narrative of entrepreneurship, I just want to put a spin on it. So what I talk about are the things that people don't talk about. Everybody might look at branding one way, but I'm like, no, you have to build a strong foundation in your business. You need that business plan. A lot of people don't talk about that nowadays. And then I also like to talk about how I found the value in recognizing that there is a thin line between mental health, mental wellness, and entrepreneurship. Because a lot of times people always want to talk about the good things, how everything looks so good. But it's like, no, there's an ugly truth behind this. There's some struggle. There are some hard times. There are some times where you just don't know whether you're coming or going. But those are the things that, it's just a little simple, one or two things I'm just bringing out now. But those are the type subjects that I really want to talk about. And then also being that entrepreneur and that business strategist that goes after everybody. A lot of people say, oh no, you have to niche down. But my message is the foundation of every industry is business. So that means that, yeah, I could talk to a music artist about how to handle their business with the entrepreneurship mindset, just as much as the author or the person who has products and services. So that's why I like to shake it up a little bit when it comes to that.
Yeah, that's very interesting that you say that. Have you run into any difficulties trying to present yourself in all aspects to all industries rather than niching yourself?
No, I haven't found any difficulties.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I
good.
just make sure that no one's confused.
All right.
So that's why I like to kind of at least make the message simple enough. But I
Yeah.
am able to tackle into any industry.
Well, good for you. Good for you. That's great, because I've helped some consultants in the past that trying to do it your way, to maybe be all things to all people, and it was very difficult for them to get going. And so after counseling them to just pick the one thing they like to do best and get their foot in the door, then all of a sudden everything else opens up.
Yes.
But if you've gotten through the secret of doing it all at once, that more power to you. That's absolutely wonderful.
And see, and the secret to that, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, one of the secrets to that is strategic planning. So one of my strong suits is I love strategy. So when you're looking at it from a strategic perspective and then you're aligning it in that way, it makes it easier to really not motivate you, but really maneuver through those processes and seeming like as if you're doing all things for all people, but in a sense you're doing one.
Okay.
And so when you have that strategic process with it, it does make it a little bit more easier and, understandable at least. And but I also have that passion of helping people.
Right.
And whatever that looks like, if I could help you build your business, if I could help you, get out of your own way and including that mindset piece with building your business, then hey, let's do it. And I come from a strong corporate professional background as well. And in that world, it's okay to be multi-skilled. It's okay to be diverse in what you're learning and take those traits to any position that you go to. So why not is it okay for entrepreneurship? And that's like I like to tackle it from that. I'm the same person professionally that I am as an entrepreneur, and that's not going to change.
Well,
So
good
make
for
it
you.
work.
That's some sage advice. I appreciate that. One of the things I've found with people in the coaching, consulting, speaking business, a lot of them are kind of individual businesses. That it's just them.
Yeah.
And to spread yourself out to take care of all the marketing aspects of that business, like you mentioned, social media and other things like that. Um, many of them I've talked to said, yeah, I'd give away 30 to 40% of what I make if somebody else would just bring people to me and allow me to do what I do.
Yeah.
Is that something that the way you think too, or have you got a different format for that?
I would love for it to be that way. and I really want to be in a position where, people are just being attracted, and just come. But, I'm not there yet. So I do have to put a lot of the work in. But I
Sure.
do understand where it comes from, that mindset of having the time management and that work-life balance and just keeping everything in its proper place. And it doesn't sound easy to do, but you have to really be disciplined in it. But I also outsource where I can. And I bring in interns as well. So I utilize, those type of opportunities.
Well, good. So if you mentioned podcast and social media and sure a website and that sort of thing, and I'm wondering, are like most people, are you using different providers for each one of those things? And have you ever thought about how there might be some benefits of having all that stuff in one place, if that were possible?
Yeah, having all in one place would be the ideal dream. But what I do, my podcast, and I do have it where my website is very robust enough to have all the bells and whistles, as long as I just go and activate all the bells and whistles. But
Sure.
my podcast is definitely on a different platform. But I'm really big on how to, I would say integrate, but you know how you do things, you integrate things yourself. It's a
Right.
manual integration, but you just connect the dots. So I'll do that to make it automate as much as possible. My way of automation. But to have all of it in one spot, yeah, that would be ideal, definitely.
Good. Yeah, that would be an ideal. So, how many new clients do you deal with on a monthly basis? And maybe once you get them, how long do they stay with you?
Yeah, so I typically, for my one-on-one coaching, the programs that I have, I really like to kind of work with just 5 clients at a time. And that way I'm not over tasking myself because I still want to perform to the best of my ability for them. And sometimes if you overtask yourself, then something is going to be lacking. And a lot of times it's with your client. I do believe in giving excellent service. So I would say 5 clients at a time. We go through a 3-month process unless they need something longer. But I tend not to go no more than 3 to 5 months with a client. And then I start the cycle again once they kind of graduate out the program and go forward. But I also have like master classes that I do. I do like group trainings and then there's times where I'm like, hey, let's do a light bulb session. That's a 15-minute session for free that I will give to people. And like I said, I do love being able to just help everybody, but I have to set that discipline for myself to make sure I don't give it all away.
Right.
But having that balance. But yeah, I try to stay it that way. But then I'm also a Verizon micro mentor. So I do mentor through Mercy Mentors. I mentor entrepreneurs, just through that platform.
Well, great.
It's a way of giving back.
Yeah, yeah, that's wonderful. That's an excellent thing to do. So, if you don't mind my asking, for your one-on-one coaching, how much? Because one of the things that all coaches have is, how much do I charge? Is it too little? Is it too much? Am I going to price myself out of the market, or am I not going to make enough to live?
Yeah.
So, have you settled on a price, and what do you charge for your one-on-ones?
So I strive to be disciplined in this area because, like I said, I give it away. But I also want to be attentive to those who are, you have people who are on a high scale, then you have people who are, you have your average everyday people who wants to be in business. So given the case by case scenario, I would like to say, like, what is your budget? And look at what their budget is, and then I will set it according to that. But my standard rates would be anywhere between like $250 and $500, depending on what it is. But I strive to stay at that 250 mark when it's an hour by hour case scenario. But if it's in the whole program, then I'm charging at least 25 to 100 to $3,000.
Okay.
And yeah, so I strive not to, and I know I go against the grain because right now everything is all about the high ticket price, the high ticket offer. But I feel like you have your quantitative approach and you have your qualitative approach. I like to deal with quantitative because it puts me in a position where I understand where that entrepreneur is coming from with what they have. And I don't
Mhm.
want to ever make it to be like, oh, I'm so unaffordable, I can't help you. But if my goal is to help you build a sustainable business, then maybe I can meet you halfway because it's better for me to meet you halfway than for you to DIY it yourself and still be stuck.
Right.
So when I look at it from that perspective, then yes, I love to be like, okay, let's get all the people out there into the program and I'm going to charge X amount of money and I will meet my high price from that standard. But then you have a lot of people that look at it from the qualitative approach. And it's just like, no, let's go with the lower number of people at the higher value because that number states that you are valuable. And this is what you are offering at a value. And they need to understand that standard, which is true. But it doesn't mean that the lower price is still not valuable. It's just that we understand about being a giver, but still having that balance. So I love being, I read the book called The Go Giver.
Hmm.
And reading that book and knowing that I was already a giver and it's on my own right just helped me to understand that there's nothing wrong with your approach at all because it all will come back eventually. But the thing is still understanding where the majority of the people are. And to me, the majority of the people are not the high dollar value or high dollar earners. They're the average everyday people. They might still be struggling, like, okay, I have this great idea, but I only have this amount of money to invest in help having somebody to help me with this great idea. But you never know what this person is going to be at in the next year because of your help and how that could benefit you with referrals or, anything else. Or they may say, look, I'm making this more much money. I can pay you more. So it's just having that balance. But that's why I know it's a long answer, but that's where I kind of stay at when it comes down to my pricing.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's a very good and detailed answer, and it's good to try and balance the people that you want to help and the means that they have to pay for that help as it relates to what you want to make in your business, so you can do the things that you want to do. Um, so, are at this particular point in time, are you happy with your income every month? Would more help, or?
Yeah, I'm happy with my income every month. More is always great, but I can always make that up with speaking and so it's just now I don't have all my eggs in one basket. So I have the clients, I have the speaking opportunities, I have my podcast where I have sponsors and all that comes in. So I balance it out. Now, like I said, more is always great, but you know, I'm still happy.
So if you had to pick one, just popped into my head. If you had to pick one for a speaker or a coach or an author, the one that you think that you would like to do the most to bring you the greatest satisfaction and perhaps the most money, which one would you pick?
I would say the speaker.
Okay. All right.
And the reason why, you have the opportunity of making more money, but you also have the opportunity of extending your reach. So when you're looking at it from not just a money building aspect, but it makes you more marketable. It puts you into a position where you're more visible, and it can, either bring you more clients or high paying clients, as well as more money with more speaking opportunities.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I can see where you'd be a good speaker. You've got a nice, easy manner about you, so that's
Thank
always
you.
good. So I'm sure the audience would attach themselves to you quickly and easily and pay attention.
Thank you.
Do you have an agent that works for you to get you speaking gigs, or you just
Do it all myself.
okay?
Yeah, yeah. For now.
All right.
But yeah.
All right.
But I'm really good that's one of my skill sets. So I'm really good with PR and things like that. So it's like just pulling on different areas while I need to right now. But I'm looking into bringing in people that can help me. But then some of my interns are PR, have a PR major.
Mm-hmm.
So they help me with that as well. And they get the training that they need to do what they want to do.
Oh, good. That's excellent. I think using interns is a great idea because it gives you the help you need and gives them the experience they need. So it's
Yeah.
it's kind of a
And then
win.
hopefully I could be their client eventually.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything that I didn't ask you that you would like to speak to before we end things here?
Um, no, I think we covered a lot of things. I do want to touch on the fact that just want to let the people know when they're watching, just to make sure that they have that balance in their life. Like I said, I've understood the value of that whole mental wellness in entrepreneurship. And that's one of the things that I've added as a passion topic when I do speak. And so just have that balance when it comes to it, because you can't do it everything by yourself. And sometimes they'll bring it in. So that's why I even start to outsource as much as I can, not to get burnt out. So yeah, that would be one of the things to really touch on and
Okay.
share with
Great.
people.
So any final thoughts?
No, Brian, thank you so much for the opportunity. And I just love for people, if you're out there and you're listening, if you want to work with me, you can reach out to me. I do free discovery calls, and I call them light bulb sessions, and they're 15 minutes. But we could get a lot done in 15 minutes, and then we go from there. But I love to provide the information to you for the listeners.
Okay, good. Well, we'll hope lots of people listen and reach out to you and have an opportunity to work with you down the road. I've really enjoyed getting to know you and learning more about your business and what you do, and I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you so much. And I love being here. Thank you for the opportunity as well.
Okay, thanks, Sasha.
Thank you.